How did Spider-Man: Brand New Day become the biggest movie of 2026 in just 1 week, while Hollywood keeps talking about superhero fatigue? It opened to a record-breaking $360 million in the US and Canada, crossed $500 million there in only 7 days, and the latest published worldwide total is already around $1.19 billion. So why is this Spider-Man movie exploding while other superhero films struggle? Is it the action, the Marvel characters, or something much more personal about Peter Parker? Watch until the end because the answer may explain why Spider-Man keeps surviving every wave of superhero fatigue. Before we move ahead, if you're enjoying the video so far and you like understanding the psychology hidden behind movie characters, make sure to like the video, subscribe to channel, and share it with a friend who enjoys this kind of content. Also, comment below and tell me your favorite part of the video so far. Start with what we can actually measure. Brand New Day opened to about $360 million in the United States and Canada, beating Avengers: Endgame's previous unadjusted opening weekend record. Worldwide, its opening reached roughly $932 million, the second biggest global debut ever behind Endgame. And the momentum did not stop. Within its first week, the film became the fastest movie ever to cross $500 million in the US and Canada, while the latest published worldwide figures put it around $1.19 billion, making it the highest-grossing movie of 2026 so far. Those numbers prove that people wanted to see it. They do not explain why they connected with it. Spider-Man is obviously one of the biggest characters in entertainment, but popularity alone is not enough. Familiar franchises still lose audiences when the story stops feeling necessary. Brand New Day had one huge advantage. No Way Home left Peter Parker with an emotional problem audiences already understood before this movie began. The world no longer remembers Peter. MJ and Ned have moved on without knowing what he sacrificed for them. Aunt May is gone, and Peter has built his life around being Spider-Man because that identity is one of the few things he still has. The official story describes him as fighting crime full-time, while the pressure of seeing his old friends move on begins changing him. That gives the spectacle a personal center. Yes, the movie has Hulk and Punisher, and it brings Jean Grey into Peter's story, but it keeps returning to a simpler question. What happens when saving other people becomes easier for Peter than rebuilding his own life? The reviews support that emotional reading. Rotten Tomatoes currently has the movie around 90% from critics and 96% from audiences. Its critics' consensus highlights the emotional stakes and Tom Holland's performance, while several reviews point to the loneliness beneath the superhero spectacle. Not every critic loved every part of the movie, which makes the box office even more interesting. These numbers cannot simply be explained by universal praise. Now the deeper meaning begins. People talk about superhero fatigue as though audiences suddenly stopped liking powers, costumes, and comic book characters. But Brand New Day suggests something more specific. Audiences may not be tired of superheroes, they may be tired of superhero stories whose problems feel too distant from their own. A city being destroyed is enormous, but emotionally it can become abstract. A multiverse collapsing is even bigger, but bigger does not automatically mean more meaningful. Peter Parker works because the impossible always sits beside something painfully ordinary. He can lift impossible weight, but he cannot make people remember him. He can fight monsters, but he cannot force his old life to return. He can save strangers all day and still carry the loneliness created by his own sacrifice. That contradiction is Spider-Man's greatest advantage. The mask gives audiences fantasy. Peter gives them recognition. No Way Home removed almost everything that made Peter feel emotionally safe. So Brand New Day does not begin with viewers only wondering which villain he will beat. They are also wondering whether Peter can rebuild himself after losing the life he expected to have. That creates emotional investment before the next action scene even begins. And it explains why bigger Marvel characters do not automatically overwhelm him. Hulk, Punisher, and the wider universe can increase the spectacle, but Peter's personal struggle is what gives that spectacle meaning. Spider-Man has survived different actors, different eras, and changing audience tastes because the character was never built around power alone. He was built around responsibility, loss, and the pressure of continuing anyway. And that is the unseen pattern behind Brand New Day's extraordinary box office run. Superhero fatigue may not begin when audiences see too many superheroes. It begins when enormous stories stop making them feel anything. Spider-Man keeps escaping that problem because beneath everything impossible about him is a question almost everyone eventually understands. How do you keep moving forward when the life you wanted is gone and nobody can simply give it back?